Can you people get to the actual work of Congress? Can you do something for the taxpayers, not yourselves? Can you think about something other than yourself for 5 seconds? Nancy Mace, my dear friend Nancy Mace, is the most attention-starved person in Congress, hands down. As we have reviewed, especially in recent weeks and months, all that this woman does is talk about herself and cook up publicity stunts. I mean, that's all she does. And yesterday, she had another one. This is what she tweeted earlier in the day. She tweeted this. And just to remind you before I read this is a member of Congress who is tweeting this. She says, "Yes, I'm going there. Today I will show my naked body on one of the videos Predator and Patrick Bryant took of me and many other women. Without our knowledge, without our permission, and without our consent. He stripped his victims of their dignity, their privacy, and their liberty. He meticulously organized and categorized these things. And he stored these images of all these women for years without telling them. He still walks free, no accountability, no jail, no restitution for his victims, nothing. He's still free to film without consequence." So that was the headline she put out there. She was going to display her naked body during a congressional hearing. Just add this to the long list of things that are far more desperate and far more shameless than anything that someone like AOC has ever done. I mean, as much as I despise AOC, it's actually unimaginable that she would ever tweet this out. For as desperate for attention as she is, I cannot imagine her ever tweeting out that she was planning to show her naked body during a congressional hearing. This is the kind of utterly shameless ploy for attention that only Nancy Mace could cook up. If I read just the first 2 sentences of that tweet to you, you had no context, you didn't know where it was coming, and I asked you to guess which member of Congress said this, everybody would say, "Oh yeah, Nancy." Like, it can only be Nancy Mace. So this is what she does, and she's doing all this ostensibly to expose some guy that no one has heard of. And actually, the guy is her ex-fiance. So when you hear the name, it's like Patrick, what was it? Patrick Bryan. That was the name, right? Yeah, Patrick Bryant. And you hear that name, again, without context, you might think, oh, well, so is that some... Why are you, like, whatever your issue is with him, even if he did something terrible, why are you talking about that in Congress? If you got an issue, if he did something terrible, to take it to court. Is this person like relevant? Is this person like a national security risk or something? Is this a terrorist mastermind of some kind that all Americans have to worry about? Well, no, this is her ex-fiance. Okay, so she's got a problem with her ex-fiance, and Nancy Mace has been using her time in Congress for months now to lob accusations against her former lover. Okay? Now, whether the accusations are true or not, which I have no idea, you may wonder still why it has anything to do with Congress. If he did something terrible to you and you have evidence of it, take it to court. Like, if you really have evidence of all this video evidence of him, take it to court. What are you doing in Congress? Bring it to the police. And if you haven't done that, or if you have and the guy hasn't been arrested yet, well, then that raises a lot of questions about the legitimacy of this supposed evidence that you have. But regardless, taxpayers we are not sending you to Congress to deal with your personal disputes. But this is what she's doing. And the answer is that she's doing it because she cannot talk about anything but herself. Ever, period. She cannot do it. That's literally the only thing she talks about. So she grabbed headlines by desperately promising to expose her naked body to the world. Like, this is like some kind of sex pest in a trench coat, right? Threatening to flash the taxpayers. And then we get to the hearing, and that she hyped up, as one does when they're doing legitimate work for the taxpayers. They hype up some, tune into this hearing. You're not going to believe the videos that I show you. So we get to the hearing, and here's what that looked like.
Liberty begins with the right to close a door. A hidden camera kicks that door off its hinges. The Constitution's Fourth Amendment enshrines a reasonable expectation of privacy. Yet today, that freedom is violated by secret cameras and hidden devices to record women and girls with impunity. Freedom is not a theory. It is the right to breathe. It is the right to dress and undress, to sleep without someone's camera filming your naked body. The founders wrote liberty in parchment, but hidden cameras erase it in pixels.
Okay, so and this, by the way, just all that Congress has been this session is just these women with their publicity stunts and like using, like just treating Congress like a reality show. I mean, you know, you had the female, the congresswomen that were showing up with their babies, right? So we had to go through like 3 weeks of them complaining that they have to come to work, and you know, she's making a big show of having her baby with her on the House floor, and now we have Nancy Mace. It's just one thing after another. Can you people get to the actual work of Congress? Can you do something for the taxpayers, not yourselves? Can you think about something other than yourself for 5 seconds, Nancy? So the naked photo that she threatened to share with the world is actually just a grainy, blurry screenshot from a security camera. Now, did this guy, it's a security camera from his apartment, I think, and it's in the living room, it looks like. Actually, it looks like it's in his kitchen, maybe, but it also captures the living room. So did this guy have a security camera because he's a sex predator? Maybe. I honestly have no clue. I'm not saying that's not the case. I don't know. You don't know? I have no clue. I haven't the faintest idea. Now, there are, of course, other reasons why a person might have a security camera. Also, the camera is in the living room. I mean, this is a wide shot of the living room. If the camera is there in order to capture voyeuristic images of naked women, that's a terrible thing. You should go to jail for that. That's my point. If you have evidence of a crime, take it to the police. But if that is what happened, it's like, why would he have it in his own living room? I mean, if the camera was in the bathroom or like a place where there's no legitimate reason. Now, I think it's crazy people have security cameras in their own homes pointing into their living spaces. I think that's nuts. I would never do that. I don't want a camera. I agree with Nancy. I don't want a camera following me around everywhere, even in my own home. So we have security cameras outside the home, but I'm not going to have a camera. But people do that. A lot of people do that these days. That's like a pretty normal thing. People have security cameras all over their own homes in the living spaces. If you feel like you keep juggling expensive supplements that are just getting more unaffordable to keep up with, then Everyday Dose will be a lifesaver for you. Everyday Dose transforms your morning coffee into a powerhouse of vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, all in one affordable cup. Just 30 seconds to prepare, and you're getting your caffeine fix, plus all the nutrients your body needs. One delicious cup, one simple solution. Everyday Dose isn't just coffee, it's coffee plus benefits. They've infused their 100% Arabica beans with lion's mane, chaga, collagen protein, and brain-boosting nootropics for clean, sustained energy without the crash or jitters. You can choose between their mild Coffee Plus, which is light, smooth, and gentle on sensitive stomachs, or Coffee Plus Bold, which is a rich, full-bodied medium roast with an extra energy kick. Both deliver the same functional benefits and undergo rigorous third-party testing to ensure that you're getting the best quality. Your brain and body will thank you. And I've actually tried this, and I have to tell you that I take my coffee very seriously. I'm very skeptical of any effort to change my coffee routine. I tried it, and I can legitimately say that I like it a lot. Get 45% off your first subscription order of 30 servings of Coffee Plus or Bold Plus. You'll also receive a starter kit with over $100 in free gifts, including a rechargeable frother and gunmetal serving spoon, by going to everydaydose.com/Walsh or entering Walsh at checkout. You'll also get free gifts throughout the year. That's everydaydose.com/Walsh for 45% off your first order. Now, so that in and of itself, when you hear, oh, he's got a security camera in his living room, that doesn't, maybe 20 years ago, if you heard that, you would go, oh, this guy's a total freak. But now it's like, well, he might be a freak, but also a lot of people do that. So that's not in and of itself abnormal. If it's in if it's in the bathroom, okay, well, it's like there's even in this world where people have cameras everywhere, there's no legitimate. There couldn't possibly be any legitimate reason for that. in the bedroom, even though, again, a lot of people have security cameras in their bedrooms. I think it's crazy, but a lot of people do. But if there was some, more damning sort of piece of evidence like that of, oh, look, he's got a camera in the bathroom, for example. Look what well, you would think that that she'd be presenting that evidence, but she didn't. This is the image that she chose to show in Congress and make a big deal out of. I think it's fair to assume that if there were more damning images or more damning evidence, she would have shared it. So this whole story is very strange to me. And I'm definitely not going to take Nancy Mace's word for it. Sorry, I'm just not. What she's saying could be true. I don't know. But I'm sorry, we can't just say, well, Nancy Mace said it. She would never lie. She would never lie for attention. Just recently, we have her in the cosmetic aisle at the pharmacy, claiming she's being viciously accosted by some guy, and then we get the video of it, and all he's doing is saying, hey, what are you doing at town hall? And she turns that into a 5-day news cycle. So we know that she's capable of just making things up or grossly exaggerating. Is she doing that in this case? I have no idea. No clue. Either way, why is this our problem as the taxpayers to deal with? If Nancy Mace was actually victimized in some criminal way by her former fiance, I'm very sorry for that. That is your personal problem that you need to address in your personal life. I would suggest going to the police and giving them all this evidence that you claim to have, that this guy's you called him a predator and a... Why are you not... Now this comes back on you a little bit. You claim you have all this evidence, this guy's a... and you have not ensured that he's in jail? What are you doing? Why are you sending out tweets? So we still have that question. The Daily Beast has more about this. Congresswoman Nancy Mace displayed a poster she claimed was of her naked at a hearing on Capitol Hill on Tuesday as she accused her ex-fiance and others of taking video of women without permission. It was the latest in a series of explosive allegations Mace has publicly made against her ex. The silhouette image was one of the several visuals the South Carolina Congresswoman used during a House Oversight Committee hearing on surveillance in private spaces. Her ex-fiance and others have denied the accusations. They've come out and denied it. One of the men she has accused, sued the Congresswoman for defamation in March. So one of the guys she's accusing is suing for defamation. As far as I know, so far the other guys aren't. So is that a potentially damning on their part? Are they not suing because what she's saying is true? Again, I don't know. There is a funny thing about all this, which is, did you know that you actually can't sue a member of Congress for things they say in Congress? Did you know that? If a member of Congress makes a false defamatory claim about you during an official proceeding in Congress, you can't sue them. They have total immunity. So a member of Congress can get up at a hearing. They can go to the floor of Congress, the floor of the House, and they can say whatever they want about you, and you can't sue them. They can make whatever false claims they want with no repercussions whatsoever. Is that why Nancy Mace is hashing this out in Congress rather than in criminal court? Because it's the one place that allows her to say whatever she wants without getting sued into bankruptcy for defamation? Or are the claims true? Again, I don't know. Neither do you. What I do know is that this is not congressional business. You are there to represent your constituents, not to settle personal scores. You're there to do serious legislative work for the American people, not to dream up one ploy after another to grab headlines. Even if you have really serious problems or if you've been wronged, victimized in some serious way, well, you should get restitution for that. You should handle that. You should get justice. But it's still not congressional business. So there are basically two groups in Congress, and most people would say, well, the two groups, Republicans and Democrats. And yeah, that's one way of breaking it down. And there are significant, people say, oh, there's no difference between them. I mean, there are differences. The difference between Nancy Mace and a Democrat is vanishingly small. The only real noticeable difference, even politically, with Nancy Mace and a Democrat is that she is now very outspoken against the trans agenda. But up until, as we talked about before, up until like a year ago, she was out there talking about how much she supports trans rights, quote unquote, using that phrase exactly. That was not all that long ago. So anyway, but there is a difference between Republicans and Democrats. But I think perhaps even the more salient way of categorizing them is that you have a group of members of Congress who became politicians, but really want to be TikTok influencers. And I know you'll often, this is not some kind of great new insight on my part, because people say all the time that Congress is full of people who are too ugly to become actors, right? A bunch of failed theater kids. And that's true, but I think it's not even that it's now, that might have been the case 20 years ago, that they're all a bunch of politicians, but what they really wanted to do was be in Hollywood, but they're too ugly for it. Now, these are people who aren't even, their greatest dream doesn't even aspire that high. They want to be influencers, is what they want to be. And then you have another group of people who actually want to be in Congress. Sadly, the former group of the wannabe influencers is much, much larger than the latter. I mean, the influencer group comprises like 95% of Congress. So out of the 535 members of Congress, of the House and Senate, the wannabe influencer group has 525 people in it, and that leaves 10 or 15 serious adults. So maybe that's another way of putting it. The most relevant distinction in Congress now, it's the serious adults versus the attention-starved children. That's the group, and there are a few. There are a few serious adults, but most of them just aren't. These are just not serious people. And they certainly don't care about something as boring and kind of technical as legislating. Because just legislation it doesn't get you a lot of attention. And this is what we have now. We have a lot of people that get into politics because they want attention. It's not even anymore that you got people that get into Congress because they have some deep desire for power. They're lusting for power. That I would prefer that. That would be better. At least then, if you have someone that's their real goals, they want power. At least could be a serious person that might accomplish something or a thing or two. Maybe their ultimate goals are not good, but at least that's someone who is capable of accomplishing something. But I think a lot of these people, they're not even power hungry. It's like they don't even really want power. They just want attention. That's it. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.